even speak to each other. We go places talking about love, talking about wisdom, talking about higher consciousness, and we won't even speak to the person next to us. I don't know about you, but my people always told me.
Was actually assassinated, and that's why he left this planet. So that was a sacrifice. Moses had to make sacrifices. Those of us who practice traditional African spirituality, we know that if the spiritual world operates on a principle of sacrifice, what makes you think you don't have to sacrifice anything to get free? That's the question we got to ask ourselves tonight. Part of the reason why we don't understand the concept of sacrifice is most of us in this room, most of us in Houston, most of us in Texas, back home in Philadelphia, Chicago, Detroit, Orlando, Florida, where I'll be tomorrow. The reason we don't understand sacrifice anymore, Black America, we have gotten drunk with the capitalism of European culture. We've gotten drunk with the capitalism. And some of us try to balance the capitalism with our spirituality, and it doesn't quite work. Because they operate on two different continuums. Capitalism operates on a materialism exploitation continuum. Spirituality operates on a sacrifice dedication continuum. The two are mutually exclusive. The two are mutually exclusive. And I want to say this, in all humility, brothers and sisters, we have to stop kidding ourselves into thinking that we are these deeply spiritual people. Come on. And the reason we got to stop kidding ourselves into believing that we are this deeply spiritual people, because if we were as deeply spiritual as we claim to be, there's no way in hell you got school districts in Houston turning libraries into baby jails. There's no way. When I read that a few weeks ago, I couldn't believe it. I had to read the article 3 or 4 times when one of your school districts here decided that we're going to take the library of all places, and we're going to turn that into a mini juvenile detention center, a suspension room, an accommodation room, a timeout room. But I want you to look at this. They even read on their grade level, but they got TikTok, they got Instagram, they got Facebook, they got Twitter, they got Snapchat. What do you mean your son got a brand new video game unit and his ass is spelled as 3 subjects? See, we're going to talk about the white man, but we're going to talk about y'all. We're going to talk about the black household and how you are complicit in the re-niggerization of black children. When are we going to talk about you? When the last time you took them to the library? When the last time you took them to a black bookstore? When the last time you checked some damn homework? When the last time you made them read a book? Oh yeah, the black community is a breeding farm too, just like the school system. Yes, we are breeding black children to fail. And I'm so sick and tired of seeing black boys want to be nothing but athletes and entertainers. I've been speaking at career days for 25 years. 25 years of career days all over the country. And for 25 years, guess what I still hear? When I ask boys, what do you want to be? For 25 years, football player, basketball player, and rapper. And guess what? I don't blame the rappers and the athletes. I blame professional black men for abandoning our black community and leaving our boys without no where to go. I don't want to hear about Lil Wayne and Lil Durk. I don't want to hear about Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. I don't want to hear about them because guess what? They would have no influence over our children if professional black men were still in the black community. Why did the dentist have to move out? Why did the doctor have to move out? Why did the principal have to move out? Why did the preacher have to move out? Why did the business owner have to move out? Black men, we got to admit something. We have turned our backs on our boys. And I'm sick and tired of us trying to scapegoat single black mothers. Single black mothers are not to blame for the failure of black boys. In African culture, men are responsible for manhood training, not mothers. So all this killing going on in Houston, all this killing going on in Philly, all this killing going on in Oakland, all this killing is the responsibility of black men. That's right, fellas. When are we going to take the streets back? There needs to be a civil war in black America. I'm going to say it right now. There needs to be a civil war in black America between black men and the black boys we stopped raising correctly. That's right. We're going to have to go block to block, house to house, and tell them it's over. Ain't no more drug dealing. I know you selling drugs because you can't find a job. We want to help you find a job, but you ain't pumping no more outside this house. That's right. You're not disrespecting your mother no more. You're not stealing from your grandmother no more. You're not putting your hands on my daughter no more. The only person who can put the black young man back in his place is the black man. Question is, brother, how long before we get this? I was in Nashville, Tennessee last weekend, and his brother came up and asked me this question. He said, how are black men supposed to be the leaders of the community when black women don't want to give us no control? This was his question. Black women don't want to give us any control. So if black women don't want to give us no control, Dr. Umar, how are we going to lead? First of all, my brother, do you even understand the definition of leadership? Leadership is the ability to motivate and influence a group to do a job. So you don't need black women to give you control. You will automatically be given the control once you show her that you mean business. You don't ask for control. You show her you the man God intended you to be, and you'll get the control. Black men, I don't care how mean and nasty our sisters can be sometimes, and sometimes they can be mean and nasty. Get on her nerves, she'll tell all your business. Get on your nerves, she'll sell your social at tax time. But one thing is for certain, and two things is for sure. Black women are angry not because they don't want us. They are angry because we are not what they need us to be. A black woman is angry because she wants to honor black masculinity. She wants to love black masculinity. She wants to support black masculinity. She wants to empower black masculinity. But guess what? And this is what every black man needs to understand. And this isn't the black woman's fault. You can blame God for this. The black woman was engineered by supreme consciousness. The black woman was engineered by supreme consciousness to only yield and bow to a power greater than her own. So, if the black man is not vibrating at a certain level, if your spiritual energy is not at a frequency that she considers greater than her own, she'll never give you power back. In other words, the black woman is not the black man's fault. She is our looking glass for what we need to be doing. You want your daughter bowing down to a man weaker than her? You want your daughter submitting to a man weaker than her? How the hell you expect black women to yield to your authority when she got to work 2 and 3 jobs to feed your children? How? Thank you. She will naturally yield to us once we assume our divine responsibility. But the problem with a lot of us, brothers, we talking and we ain't ready to walk it yet. We keep talking about how we would be treated like kings, but we ain't built our queens no kingdoms yet. Where them black Wall Streets at? Where them black Wall Streets at? On May the 26th, I'll be in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I would invite all of you to come to Tulsa. It'll be the memorial, I believe it's the 102nd or 3rd memorial of the race massacre of Tulsa. I'll be keynoting that on May the 26th, and you all are invited. But as we talk about black Tulsa, as we talk about black Rosewood, as we talk about black Charleston and black Durham, North Carolina, and all these great black Wall Streets we used to have a century ago, I gotta expose the contradiction. If we love black Wall Street as much as we claim we do, why haven't we made any new ones? Do you know as I travel this country, I can't find a single town, single city, single county, single black community where we own the bank, where we own the school, where we own the hospital, where we own the supermarket, where we are building a manufacturing and distribution. Just like we have it. We all have it. African people are sick globally, and no group of us is any sicker than the rest. We all need healing. And speaking of healing, in order to improve your life, brothers and sisters, you have to spend time by yourself. Yes. Solitude is the road to spiritual growth. If you are not alone, for at least an hour a day. No children, no cell phone, no TV, no TikTok, no YouTube. You need an hour. And why must we be alone by ourselves, Dr. Umar, for an hour? What is the purpose of that? When you are silent, you give rest to your soul. When you are silent, you afford your soul the opportunity to receive those whispers from the divine. See, the reason why we can't get no spiritual direction is our life is too loud to hear the voice when it speaks to you. You always bumping your music. You always on YouTube. You always chatting with your girlfriends. You always smoking some weed. You always having some fun. When do you give spirit the opportunity to tune out of your ego and tune into God? And the reason I'm bringing this up, Houston, is we are in sexually trafficked. And speaking of sexual trafficking, Houston is a hotbed for sexual trafficking. For those of you who got daughters, especially the ages of 11 to 17, I hope you know where your daughter is at this moment. I hope she's being escorted to and fro everywhere she goes. Because these sex traffickers have gotten so bold, that they are kidnapping our daughters in broad daylight. God is my witness. Last night when I arrived at the airport in Houston, I got an Amber Alert for a black girl within minutes of the plane landing. I'm still on the plane, an Amber Alert comes through. As I'm being escorted to my hotel by the police office of Prairie View, they brought me back to the hotel on their campus. I got another Amber Alert. Houston is off the hook. And when I looked at the description of the women, these were white girls and Latinos. These were Latinos. Black girls are the #1 commodity on the international sex trading market. They want our daughters, and they want them for 3 reasons. They want our girls #1 for sex, because the darker the berry, the sweeter is the juice. #2, they want our daughters for organ harvesting. Okay? #3, they need our daughters for governmental experimentation. And #4, they want to isolate the mitochondrial DNA of the black woman. See, the black woman is the only woman with that EG. You're the only one with it. And this gets interesting because, you know, some of y'all belong to this I'm not from that. White tragedy has created an exposure crisis for black boys. This is why we cannot celebrate when we get the internet bill at all. They just passed it to make black people feel a little bit better. And guess what? Ever since they passed the federal hate crimes law, black people, look at this now. The law was created to protect your life. The federal hate crimes law. Guess what? Black people are disproportionately prosecuted under the federal hate crimes law. How in the hell can a law created to stop white folks from lynching and hurting me be used to lock me the hell up? This is why y'all got to stop celebrating these laws. Because under white supremacy, anything they create can be used to disadvantage black folks. Oh yes. Oh yes. Brothers and sisters, a few months ago, the U.S. Supreme Court, led by House Negro in charge, Clarence Thomas, outlawed affirmative action in college admissions. So now, in the United States of America, you cannot include race as a factor in why you admit certain students into your school. Clarence Thomas hoped to help to decimate this. A white man who runs an organization for fair college admissions used the Asians. This was a white-Asian collaboration. This was a white-Asian collaboration. The Asians, the Chinese, and the Japanese worked with the white power structure to strip affirmative action in college. So then we naturally say, what? This is a good thing, right? Ain't no math book to be here today, but this number 2.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Peace and black power, sir.
Peace,
you did amazing. And you know, one thing that really reached us was how you spoke about how we need to connect black boys. And as I hold my son, you know, the importance of us making sure that we reach one another and that we reach them. I definitely believe we're losing them and the way that we influence them. So I definitely wanted to get your thoughts on the best way that we impact the youth and the best way that we mentor them and take them to the next future.
Great question. The simplest way, every black man should have at least 3 black boys he's pouring into outside of his own biological children. That goes for every black man in here. If you ain't got at least 3 black youth that you are not pouring into on a monthly basis, you are not fulfilling your contract with the black community. And I'm gonna say the same thing for black women. You should have at least 3 black girls who you are pouring into once a month. All they need is a few hours a month You don't know what that will do to stop them from going to the streets. You don't know what that will do that will stop them from drug dealing or ending up in a domestically abusive relationship. Spend time with the children. Remember, our elders and our children are the most sacred people in our community. The elders are going back, the children just came. And if you want to stay on good alignment with the universe, we got to treat our elders and our children great. And guess what? We give our children to the white foster care system. Guess what? We give our elders to the nursing home. Yes. And if you ever been in some of these nursing homes, brothers and sisters, it breaks my heart to see how poorly our elders are treated. Okay? Our elders are being killed in these places, sometimes on purpose, y'all. They're sitting there with bed sores, never being changed, just laying there with nobody to go and look out for them. How can we do that? When Queen Mother Harriet Tubman, as busy as